Alright, so I've created the crowd control Doom. I've got a big instruction manual here. What you'll need to do is install these three things: Streamlabs chatbot, the Python 2.7.13, and AutoHotkey program from the internet. You don't have to worry about creating an example file unless things are giving you problems. I would also highly suggest installing the Streamlabs extension, which I will show you here. Under your dashboard, you go extensions, and you get Streamlabs or Streamlabs Bits if you're a affiliate or partner. This will get you people spending bits for the loyalty points. And then you should adjust all the loyalty points accordingly. You don't really have to match mine, but it's suggested because you want to be able to give your viewers lots of points for participating. I've got some redemptions here. Any other things not to worry about. You don't have to worry about rewards unless you want to get more advanced. But that should be about it from the Streamlabs and the Twitch end of things. So this is the Streamlabs chatbot. And under the scripts, this is where you want to probably set up your Python lib folder, which I believe is this folder. Not libs, but lib. Make sure you come to this settings here and connect the two. And once you do that, then you want to import the AHK launcher. The AHK launcher, if you import it correctly and everything's set up right, it should just pop up right here. It's an AutoHotkey launcher made by someone else, but I have already included about a dozen scripts under the AHK script section, all right here. These are all scripts that a lot of them just it hits that key when it runs, and that's it. So after you've got this, then you also want to make sure under currency, give yourself lots of points because you're going to want to test some of this. And I highly recommend using Streamlabs extension currency, but that's up to you. You could use this currency, but if you want to have the viewers spend bits down the road, this is what'll get you that. And under commands, I have all these commands already set up for you. All you have to do is click import, and this is the file that contains all these pre-made commands. And then you can change and adjust the prices as you see fit. You can change and adjust the sayings. So user has entered the fight. This is kind of what happens if you spawn a computer ally to help the player. And they're all grouped to Doom. So if you change games, you can in one fell swoop disable everything in the group. Yeah. So points is a very important one. I'll always suggest looking out. !Doom brings up all the commands that people can use. I've kind of just whipped it together, but you can clean it up or reduce the lines. Under my console, here it is in action. For example, I wrote !spawn imp, and if it works, it should say spawned an imp. And !Doom, for each line, he's going to spit out one line at a time. So you might want to clean that one up, but I've reduced Doom to a 5-minute cooldown, so it can't be spammed too much. That's up to you. The Doom one is very changeable and won't affect anything. But all these other ones, they have an AHK, and this AHK basically calls those script commands. So after that, in the install file, we have these commands, and that you're going to copy and navigate to your Doom bin and your INI file, or whichever INI file gets executed by the game. And you want to scroll all the way down to the Doom.bindings. And here I already have them loaded here at the end. And if you try it out in whatever version Doom you have, you just load the game. If none of the buttons work, you probably want to turn on the cheats. That's SV cheats equals true. And then things should start spawning after you hit the numpad buttons. If a certain button you find just doesn't do anything, and you check the console, it really doesn't do anything, then that's where you probably want to adjust the names of the creatures. Maybe it doesn't like vanilla, or maybe that version WAD just doesn't have, the Mancubus or the imps. They rename them to something else, or they use something entirely else anyways. It's really surprising what kind of things come up. I've had someone play a game and a weird creature shows up in place of demon. So this should work just about anywhere, any Doom WAD. It just takes some fingering with this. And if you do change, let's say this imp one, you probably also want to come back to these commands. Here's the imp one, and just rename that command and change it down here, the message, and then submit. So some of the very small creatures I've given no cooldown, and the biggest creature, if that opens, I've given a high cost and about a 10-minute cooldown. You probably don't want 3 cyber demons to show up at once, or maybe you do. So it's up to you. A lot of this is very configurable. And I'll show you guys one last thing, which is some of these. These are some of the more custom scripts I wrote. Probably this one in particular, the spawn minion. I have this, you can probably understand this. It chooses a random number between 1 and 100, and if that number falls in a certain range, we hit that key. So you can play around with this. As you see, I've repeated 3 twice here. That's okay. You can also do something like this, sleep 1000, and this will basically sleep. This will wait 1 second and then spawn another one or a different one. This is a very easy AHK auto script program to figure out. It was a no-brainer, and that's one way. If you want to set up, let's say you want to set one command to make the character dance, and just put a whole bunch of sleep, and like here's a button, regular button, send B. It's B on the keyboard. You can have it send WASD, and put a half a second wait between each button press, and that'll just make the character do crazy dance. So you can set it up however you like. You can pretty much expand on this however you like. So these are the commands that you want to import. This is the instructions. I've included this file in case you want to explore and experiment with summoning marines or other versions of demons and whatnot. Like some of these don't work, some of these do. It really depends. Some of these come straight out of the Hexen wads. And then there's summon and give. I always find summoning weapons to be the best, because if you just give an item, then sometimes the streamer just forgets that he was given an item. Whereas if it's dropped right in front of them in the game, that's something that's like, ooh, thanks for that. There's some fun and miscellaneous stuff, but I don't want to get into these ones as yet. If you want to explore that, go right ahead. Here's some that don't even work for this person, which probably means they work for a completely different mod. I did not fill this sheet. I've Googled and found this, but help yourself. Try some things out. I mean, I've given everything you need here that I've put together and made easy to set up. The rest is just, you gotta install these three and you gotta tweak and play with these guys. Everything you need is here. I've got a few notes about maybe transferring to other games. You could work this into a game like Half-Life. It's got a console. You can set up some binding commands. Granted, when you spawn creatures in Half-Life, they spawn wherever your mouse is pointed at. I've yet to experiment with that, so, but you're more than happy to try this out. Have fun and enjoy.